Six Nations Championship hots up as an unpredictable...
saints of the cathedral. Also at this centre gather great conferences, meetings, and important occasions of the church in Papua New Guinea. These were frequent in years past. Every 2 years, all the staff of the diocese would gather here in conference and for refreshment, retreat and renewal. Many travelled by boat from far away New Britain. It's a long journey, up to 4 or 5 days, and then a rough landing when you arrive in a bouncing dinghy into the surf. And of course, for these occasions, to meet you, there was always the father of the diocese, the bishop. Here, Bishop Philip Strong is greeting a party of missionaries coming to conference in the early part of the 1960s. The ship would then go to another part and pick up another group of staff from other parts of the diocese. On this day, these were more fortunate. They were able to land while the sea was calm and so come alongside at the wharf. Notice that the skipper of the boat was a Papua New Guinean. The crew and those gathering round to help at this important gathering. It's a great occasion for the missionaries not having met for up to 2 years, to meet their friends again and be welcomed in their turn by the bishop. Then everyone wends ashore to the beach, and transport takes them up to the mother station. Others are fortunate and come in by plane. Here is the last lap of a 500-mile journey by aircraft from the highlands, flying over the coast, approaching Dogura. The great open space here was formerly a battleground of the local Wedown people with the wild mountaineers at the back. Now there stands the cathedral and a school and hospital and the new and flourishing school for girls run by the community of the Holy Name. There was a time when the airstrip cut from the grasslands below was a modern innovation, but now air travel is essential for the work to continue there. Again, friends gather after many years of absence from one another, and all are looking forward with great anticipation to the events that take place at this gathering. This one was for the enthronement of the first Papua New Guinean bishop. This happened very shortly after the enthronement of Bishop Hand, who was the first European bishop to be consecrated after long service within Papua New Guinea, following the many long years of service of Bishop Philip Strong. And of course the village people and the station staff gather in their hundreds for this wonderful occasion. Students of the training college for teachers were the first to arrive in procession, and now all the clergy, brown and white, of the diocese enter in their turn. The guard of honor is formed by drummers from the college. The Episcopal party with the Chancellor of the diocese. Attending him, Canon Henry Kendall, who is now a regional bishop of the diocese, Bishop Hand, and on his left, attending him, John Chisholm, the Dean, who is now the Bishop of Melanesia. Hand enters the ceremony, and soon we are to see the face of the first Papua New Guinean bishop, Bishop George Ambo, enthroned for his work first as assistant bishop and now as a regional bishop in charge of the northern district of the diocese, living at Popondetta. After the service, the great congregation comes forth to return to their work and their villages, and the staff to go into conference. Nurses in training at the base hospital, which is already sent out to many parts of the diocese, teams of fine medical workers, men and women, The local Wedar village, from which these women folk come, has therefore been one of the fountainheads of service in the diocese, and many villages have followed in its course and sent their people out to bring the gospel to parts of the diocese where there are those who have never heard it. We look again across the Wedar village to the point where the first missionaries landed from a whaleboat on St. Lawrence's Day, 1891. From there into our new era of aircraft and radio, the conference and great occasion is over, and those working in the Highlands return to their field of work. And this is one of the greatest dawnings of adventure that have come. Advance and expansion within Papua New Guinea itself. And much of this carried out by Papua New Guineans themselves. So the long flight of 4 or 5 hours brings us far to the west, and then up inland and over the first of the great ridges and into the great wide valley of the Asaro, where Goroka, an important center in the highlands, eastern highlands of New Guinea, lies. It was from here that the first work began in the Siani Valley, where now there are 7 or 8 schools, a great number of village churches, and some thousands of baptized Christians. For anyone working in Papua New Guinea, these flights by aircraft become familiar. They can be risky and adventurous. Now we reload and take on a Papua New Guinean missionary being transferred from one part of the highlands to another and go further to the west. We have reached heights of up to 7,000 feet and higher to clear the high mountain ranges. And here the aircraft is flying at 7,000 with the ground only 2,000 feet or less below you. And we enter the great Wagi Valley. This has been the scene of some of the greatest development economically in Papua New Guinea in recent years. We fly over the Wagi River and a headquarters of government service in the area, Kundiawa. And beyond this there are open grasslands where now coffee and tea plantations have sprung up, and a most amazing development amongst this very tightly populated area of the island. We turn out of the valley and over the tops again into a remote bushland area of the highlands, Simbai. And this was one of the first and most remote highland stations to be begun. Only a few years previous to this filming, the first missionaries began here. Now the wife of the missionary in charge comes down to meet the aircraft as it brings the party back from far away Dogura. And immediately here we see the pioneering and adventurous work which is always taking place in these new areas. The building of the first school. Young Papua New Guinean men trained as carpenters working alongside a team leader, here a voluntary service overseas volunteer from England, who's built this on the design by the local priest in charge. The timber has been got at great trouble and expense, a lot of it cut in the local forest by hand, and a portion of it bought for £100 from the nearest sawmill a half-hour's flight away, costing another £100 of air freight to fly it in. Then, of course, the great day comes for the school to get underway. And here is a class, or the school assembly. The children are learning. Note that they turn the wrong way, and the teacher waves his hands and gets a little frustrated to get them to turn the right way, to distinguish their left from their right. The teachers, again, are Papua New Guineans, one from the coastal area in the Dogura district, and the other a Highlander himself from Morvi, the Siani Valley, and near Goroka, which we flew over earlier on. All the same subjects in school as we do, and the same entertainments and sports. And of course the sports day is just as popular there as in any of our schools. They have a natural flair for competition, but have never known it in an organized way as you have in a school. Their competitions usually have been in hunting prowess, who will be the best shot with a bow and arrow at a bird in a tree, and of course staying power in walking long and traveling long distances through the bush. So this is a natural outlet for their own background. And of course the archery must come into it, or we'd be most unpopular. And here's some good shooting by one of the senior schoolboys. We're very delighted when we get the younger children in. The parents are reluctant to yet let little children come to school, as they are fearful and do not know exactly what this new education is going to mean. It doesn't take them long, a few years, to gain confidence and trust in what the churches and the government do for educating their children. The problem today, 1971, is to find enough schools and teachers to give universal education, but that lies beyond another dawn and another adventure. The wife of the priest in charge begins her ministry by having her